Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
to the big picture.
where we help you see
Think
and act big. And this is episode number 20. How are you
big
guys?
2-0, big 2-0.
Yeah, big 2-0. And today, guys, we have so much in store for you because here in the big picture, we invite really amazing people that would like break the mental barriers that you have. And whatever excuses that you have why you cannot do something, we're gonna try to just hit it with so much more. And today we have our guest Vince. Hi Vince.
Hi guys, how are you?
We're good. How
We're
are
good.
you?
I'm good. I'm very excited for this talk.
Yes.
We're very excited. So Vince, before this episode, we have a short chat with Vince. The more he spoke to us, the more I get so excited and pumped up for this episode. Okay.
Yes, so this is, I think, would be for all the tech people there, and also for those who wants to start a business using technology, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But also, like, am I right, Vince? You're also coaching traditional businesses.
Right. I'm doing business technology adaptation or transformation for all traditional businesses
Okay.
using technology.
That's
Alright.
awesome.
So
maybe we could start with a little backstory. Yeah.
Can you tell us,
why
yeah.
you started on this kind of business?
So I'm actually a Bachelor of Science of Information Technology graduate in University of San Carlos, and I went for Masters of Science in Industrial Technology, where I saw different kinds of businesses and different types of industries, as far as aviation, biotech, and processes of cement. And I am in technology. So I saw different kinds of industry that technology could adapt to, or they could use technology to enhance their chosen industry. So after 7 years in startup company, NextIX, wherein I saw and I implemented different kinds of technology, I've learned a lot. 2012, we went to Silicon Valley in Google and different kinds of technology startups in America. 6 months after, I resigned.
Well, let's like we haven't been to.
I haven't been to Silicon Valley.
haven't
That's
been to
my
Silicon
dream.
Valley.
Right.
Right. So
Actually, yes.
can you tell us just very quickly, what's different? What the type of environment? What are the type of people that are there?
True. Basically, people doesn't know that Silicon Valley is not one city or one town. It's basically composed of different cities and municipalities per se in California state. From San Jose, San Francisco, Santa Clara, there are a lot of technology startups or big companies such as Apple, Google, Yahoo, in one place. Actually, there's not much difference in different startup hubs. What they have is the cash flows and the history of innovations. Way back hardware, where the first internet was actually incorporated through defense, through war. I think the greatest innovation for me is because of war, and people doesn't know that.
That was the catalyst.
Yeah. I heard something about that. That basically because of war, they started like thinking outside of what they normally do, and they invented this thing. Some are very destructive, but then some have very good application in
Yeah,
like
it turns out
day-to-day.
to be very helpful today.
Wow.
Right, so that where I saw the history of innovation in Silicon Valley, and I was so inspired on that place. That's why when I went back home,
You quit.
Wow.
Your job.
founded my own very first startup, Tudlo Innovation Solutions.
Oh, so this is currently what we discussed earlier. Tudlo Innovation is primary focus of Vince
Vince.
here. Sorry. So yes, we will dig deeper into that. And yeah, so can you tell us about what Tudlo Innovation is?
So Tudlo is a Visayan word or Cebuano word,
Yeah.
which means
Teach.
to teach,
Right.
to guide, and to point. We just correlated into our first application that was an emergency management system. It was founded and funded by Smart during the Smart Dev Hackathon.
What year was this?
This was September 2012.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is recently. Huh?
And then Idea Space Foundation, which is also a Manny V. Pangilinan group of companies foundation, also gave us the opportunity. So they funded us through Idea Space Foundation, and then together with Smart Communications, we actually founded in Pindot in province of Albay.
Oh, so you were there.
We actually our first commercial application was established.
Yeah. Can you tell us
And-
like what Tudlo Innovation?
Because
in-
Albay has
They
the
call
volcano,
it,
or
sorry for my word, Vatican for disasters.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
name it.
So it's like the perfect spot where you can launch your product
True.
and use the product. Okay.
So emergency management system for Albay is focused on disaster managers, or what we call emergency managers.
Wow, really?
Where they could collaborate and communicate with public users. It's free for public users to download and use either Android or iOS. And any disaster managers can just use the application, manage the application through major web browsers.
this is what you did for
Yes, for Albay. And
and
then
Tudlo Innovation
Tudlo
create.
Innovation.
So it's a tech startup company
tech startup
basically.
company,
Okay.
basically.
Can you explain what a tech start for those who are not techie here?
All right.
Yeah, just
Is-
in quickly.
Tech startup company is focused on innovation. So SMEs or traditional businesses
Yeah.
or any software industry or outsourcing software just focus on clients' specifications while we do things innovatively. That means it is not yet existing, or there's some kind of innovation on processes on what we do things focus on technology or
Okay,
information
cool.
technology.
So basically, they transform the system to make it faster or reach more people, whatever it is. So you tackle almost all sides of the business
Right.
where technology could be injected on it or in it. So, yeah.
I have a question because you said that the first application was funded by Smart. How do you
right.
get funded by Smart?
That's a really good question.
We were just lucky because we won the best disaster and emergency application during the Smart Dev Hackathon. So this is my tip for you guys out there
Yeah.
who wants to start without any enough money to start with application servers or marketing. Maybe you could go to any competition or apply for grants because there are actually a lot. Just
Here in the Philippines.
here in the
there's-
Philippines.
Where's the best place to know like this? Because sometimes you learn about the competition already in the paper and it's already like announced
There's
who's
a
the
winner
winner.
already.
So how do I if I'm a starter, where do I get this information?
Right. So there are actually a lot of organizations like Smart, Globe, and DTI. They always publish in social media. So check out their Facebook, and they also publish on different platforms. So either traditional media, radio, or television.
Yeah. There's also one that I particularly joined, and it's called the Negosyo Go Negosyo.
yeah,
They also
familiar with that.
I joined the mobile application challenge.
And
so
there
it's
are a lot
really
of
fun.
groups as well, right? Where tech people kind of join
You have to
in.
connect, collaborate, and network. There are a lot.
Yes.
And you might want to check meetup.com.
Yeah.
So there are actually
And then you could
events.
just
Oh,
you get to know what's going on, right? Because they normally publish in Meetup, right? Because
Right.
for ticketing purposes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So from there that you had this emergency, was it an application, right? An Android app?
Yep, Android app and iOS app.
Okay, and how did the company develop from there?
So from there, we already have 11 solutions, different kinds of solutions.
All focus on emergency?
No, it's focused on activating any traditional businesses or existing SMEs or startups who wants to adopt technology. So we provide platforms focused on cloud software, web, and mobile.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what would be one good example of that?
So human resource management,
Right.
customer relationship management, e-services, accounting softwares,
So those are the part of the 11.
yes, and on-demand services application.
Okay, I do have one question. Like, how can we, like, let's give one concrete example. Something that is that you love or something that everyone could relate. Like, let's say HR.
Right.
Like, how does it work? Like, how can you improve the human
Alright.
resource?
So right now, all human resource management, or most of them, go into paperworks, or they have their own software, but it's actually in-house.
Right.
It doesn't extend on your mobile phone or your
Oh, yes.
web browser. What we do is we enable every HR manager and their employees to access it beyond their own office
Right.
through
Right.
mobile and web browsers.
Yes.
Interesting.
So that's
Okay.
what we do.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And is the price like Filipino friendly or
We have a unique pricing. You got to feel the software demo for 1 month, and after
That's free.
that,
Is
yes,
that
for
free?
free.
Okay.
And then after that, you just pay per user,
interesting? Yeah, cool.
100 pesos.
So
Wow.
that's your go-to rate most of the time.
Right.
Or is it for each platform?
I'm gonna go check this out.
Just for human resource.
Yeah, you
management.
could, so you could try it out. And
Definitely gonna try it out. Thank you, thank you.
so that's really nice.
Yeah, I can see that. Then now we actually met in like one of the events here in Cebu.
Yep, Startup
it's
Island.
Startup Island, right? Like how do you like what? How did you get into Startup Island? Because I know you're working on this company, but then yeah.
Right. I've been into different countries and different startup hubs like Singapore, Australia, US, and Africa. I get to see different kinds of ecosystems. And I know the pain points of the Philippine ecosystem.
Oh, we should tell us.
2012, we just started with Idea Space
Right.
and Globe Kickstart. And
Yeah.
after that, there were startup weekend events.
Yeah,
But there was no continuity, and there were a lot of startup that died out, even until now. We saw 3 different problems. Obviously, it's funding. Number 2, it's mentors. And number 3 is talents.
Right.
But we could not solve every problem in the startup ecosystem. That's why, together with DTI, we solve the mentor problem. Because if you have a good mentor, if you have a good advisor, you don't have to go through the same mistakes that these entrepreneurs or mentors go through. And they know based on their experience, based on their day-to-day activities.
Right.
So that's what we do with together with DTI, Cebu Chamber of Commerce, and other startup companies.
You launched at Startup Island.
Right.
But prior to this, there was still like Mentor Me, like a program. Were you involved in that?
Right. The Negosyo DTI
I'm kind of
Mentor Me is
doing a
for
little research there.
traditional
Right.
businesses, for SMEs, like sari-sari store, buy and sell.
Yeah.
And for this one, Startup Island is focused on innovative companies,
Right.
tech companies.
Okay. But you're involved in both.
No, only
Just
on
the
Startup Island.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. So obviously you're working with like things that are there's a social impact for you, right?
Right.
What's the reason behind this? What's the drive for you?
Yeah, for me, to get profit in any kind of business is actually easy. But to make an impact in the society, it's much more difficult. So, shall we say traffic? If you make an impact in traffic, it would be great, right? So, we have a parking space app, Dibs. It solves the problem of fuel efficiency and mobility.
Right.
Because in one top of the bottom, you now have a valet parking attendant that will drive your car towards the parking area. You don't have to roam around on the parking spots looking for your parking. So
on big parking lots.
Aside from you're making money, you have a great impact in the environment and the time and effort of every passengers or drivers.
Right.
And then for emergency management system that we have, our first product, we got to have an impact not just on the environment too, but on the people that wants to solve the quickness of emergency response.
Right. Yeah, it's about that. One of the problems that I saw during the Yolanda, and then there's another one like the earthquake calamity that happened in Bohol. I'm pretty sure it's more Yolanda because I'm more aware of this, that it's difficult to do, like to help or to act on something because the information is not centralized. Like different groups, like hundreds of different groups is trying to do the same thing.
Right.
Right.
It's actually 2 things. The data collection and information sharing.
Right.
That's what we are solving on
Yeah.
our application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see that's very critical because like you have, like a lot of people want to help, but they just don't know how to do it, where to do it, and like what's the most effective affected place. Because sometimes we just like, oh, something's happening there, let's go there and let's help.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I can really see what's going on there. I can really see that you've really intentionally widen your horizon, and then you always have this thinking that um, whatever you're doing should benefit others, and like in our conversation, I always feel like you want to help other people to have the same mindset as you have, so that you can build stronger business. Is this something that's intentional or not?
Yes. There's a saying: if you have a lot of players in a game, basically you would win the game. So
Interesting.
that's my mantra in life.
Because they said that like there are only two ways to build the biggest building in town, the tallest building in town. It is one is to build the tallest building, and the other one is to basically build a building and destroy everything else that's taller than yours. But in your case, you actually want everybody to build the tallest one so that it would lift the whole
community.
community.
Right.
Interesting. So let's back up a little bit. Like I always believe that your childhood is the
Yes.
key to we're basically doing this almost the same thing when we were still kids, right? They said like just go back what you're doing when you're young, and you can see what type of person had what influenced you to
Yes.
be who you are. So can you talk about
They always
that?
say that it's based on genetics and environment.
Right.
So basically, on genealogy, my mother's side are all businesswomen and businessmen.
I see.
They're doing traditional businesses. While on my father's side, they're all doing academics. So they are
Right.
teachers. They're teaching in colleges and in high school. So I think I'm very lucky as a person that I have both
Right.
the academe and the business, because
a
you
good
need
combo.
that
Exactly.
combination.
Right.
But before that, as a childhood, I was already very entrepreneurial.
Wow.
In fact, I always sell these different kinds of things. I'm not shy uh, to to get some scrap of metals and
Sell it.
sell it. I don't care.
Right.
I just need money.
Yeah. So when you say when you just need money, do you spend it on something?
Basically, I save it and then get something out of it. Maybe build something out of those savings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this
Saving
is
is very
something
important.
that kind of like just occurred to you because of your parents or your mom somehow has like business.
Right.
And this is something.
It's an influential.
Yeah, it was influenced.
So what did you do to like it's like the ignition, right? There's a small fire in you based on genealogy. Okay. So how did you like fed that fire along the way? Like
So
what did you do?
I
to
always
learn more?
read books.
Okay.
I have also the positive thinking. I believe on law of attraction.
Right.
So the first time I saw The Secret,
Yeah.
that was already my inspirational video.
Yeah.
All of those authors, I research about them, and I read about them. I always have this mindset: no matter what, just do it.
Wow. So like your thinking is your motivation, your instinct, you train yourself to basically say, like be not basically say, but to be action oriented.
Right.
Like, okay, so after you graduated, you did you work for a company and then you went to a hackathon, right?
Yes.
So how long did that take?
So people doesn't know. I think I was the unique graduate in University of San Carlos until now. I don't
Why?
know if someone would break this record. I took 3 OJTs
At one time, or
In-
every summer?
every summer.
Wow.
And people doesn't know that. I was already the top student, but I always see to it that I'm the best of the best. So I went to
Wow.
DOST. That's where I learned about Linux, PHP, MySQL that were never
This
taught
is during the summer.
summer.
Wow.
And then I went to NEC. So at that time, there were
When you
only...
say you went, you basically knock on doors and say, "Hey, I want to apply."
Yeah, I applied.
Interesting.
And then there were a lot of Dean's Listers in San Carlos. I was not the Dean's Lister. I was just the naughty boy who always keep knocking on the doors, right?
Wow.
I pass. And basically that company give me also an opportunity to be on that company for permanently,
Wow.
but I did not do that. Why?
So
Because
they offer you like
they offer me.
you can stop college now and then you just work for us.
No, after college.
After college.
They offer me. And I would never go through the same software training that is for 6 months. Because I was already
You
stuck.
already went through it.
I went through it together with my colleagues, right? But I never went through that company. Why? Even though at that time it was already huge amount of money, 17,000
Yeah, yeah.
versus 12,000. I went to a PHP outsourcing company. Why? I love creating things on the web. So I have the passion on creating things,
And this company was like creating like
web applications, mobile applications. So I always went into unique companies that offers new technologies.
Okay, let me just pause a little bit because just so much. There's so much
So
that
much
went
gold
through my
nuggets
mind.
here, yeah.
One is like the mindset of many people today
Right.
is that they basically want to be handed down like opportunities, right? But in your
Yes.
case, what I really like about it is that you actually went and seek it
Not
out,
the opportunities.
and
you're
and,
not-
and say, hey, this is what I want. I want to do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I hope, you know what I said, like I would say, like I wish I had that kind of mindset when I was in
yeah.
college.
So I was wondering what was your vision at that time during college? Why?
Vision, it was really funny. I told myself, I really see it until now in a grotto. I want to be in Google,
You want to work in Google?
work in
Wow.
Google.
Okay.
5 years after that, I went to Google.
It's a
It
law of
was so amazing.
Yeah,
For others, it's law of attraction, but for me, it's the work of positive thinking and action-oriented results.
wow, yeah,
If you're only always dreaming and thinking without actions,
yeah.
it never go beyond reality.
Yeah, I just want to go back to that also, like because a lot, you know, when the secret came out, a lot of people misinterpreted it to like, oh, I'm just gonna sit there, and then I think Rhonda Brines,
Yes.
the author, and the other people who supported it, Oprah Winfrey, Jim Carrey, a lot of them said like, if you interpret it that way, that's the wrong way of interpreting the secret. The right way is you focus on it and then you work and you do the work, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Thinking is the first step,
Yeah.
but doing it is the ultimate step.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
so how did all of this positive thinking, all of these mindset? So you're now here right now sitting
Yeah.
with us. So can you tell us more about what the company is or what the things you do now?
So right now I handle Tudlo Innovation Solutions together with Kallfly Inc. With Kallfly, I have a business partner, Mark Lapus. He always do the day-to-day activities,
Right.
while in
He's the
Tudlo
operations
Innovations,
guy.
operations guy, and the same time he's CEO.
CEO. Yeah.
While in Tudlo Innovations, I do all the hard work like selling, talking to investors, and
Right.
talking to my programmers. That's my day-to-day activities right now.
So just a bit about Tudlo Innovation. So basically with Kallfly, you earn from it already. Passively, basically.
Yeah.
So Tudlo Innovation, how does the cash flow comes in with this?
So we are already ROI. Basically, we did not have a mark packet on our
Yeah.
money on the first
Right. Because you get funding.
incubation. We got funding, so we're positively in a
Cash flow.
positive cash flow. What we're doing right now is expanding. We want to expand our product and services. We want to have a digital transformation on startups, SMEs, large corporations, and government. That's our goal.
Okay. So you said you don't have to shell out in the very beginning, and you said like this is the tip for starters, right?
Right.
The tip for starters is join like
Competition,
competitions.
search in Google.
Search in Google.
What are the meetups and networking
Right.
events?
I think that's the action part.
That's the action part. Like, you know, my background, I also work with the TBI and with DOST, right? Months ago, and we always talk about funding. And my question to you is, how hard is it to get funding?
It's really, really hard. But there's actually a technique for that. I call it 5 T's.
All right.
If you know about the 5 T's, it's easy to get funding.
Okay.
The first one is you have to build a strong team. That's team.
Right.
If you have the best of the best, that's also supplementary on your own capabilities.
Wait, are you saying you can't do it on your own?
You cannot do it in your. No man is an island.
Okay, good.
And then after that, you have to get strong talents, very talented people. That is actually beyond on your capabilities, right? And the third one is actually technology. You have to build a good technology. Without a good technology, you don't have a good company. And the fourth one is traction. People doesn't know that in order for you to get funding, it's not to get money first, but to get customers. And customers, it will shut the mouth of every investors because it means that your product is
viable.
actually usable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the fifth one is timing.
There's always a time.
There's always the time for everything. Airbnb was so successful because it was very timely. There was a house crisis in US.
Yeah.
Uber is just a black car, ordinary black car. But at that time, people wanted to have a second job. And that's driving. It's the easiest way to get more money. So for us, it's more on timing than others.
Right.
That's really good.
Wow.
Wow.
Really, really interesting. Yeah, because like we always talk about that, and every time I talk to startups, they will always talk about funding and like can you like not me but like can the OST or can the university like fund me, and it's a very very difficult.
But I think the mindset is, as I've heard of the 5 T's, I think thinking about the funding, it's totally, it's different kind of thinking. It's
People
not,
will go to you, and it's very cheap right now to get to have a software company because Amazon is there, AWS, Amazon
Yeah.
Web Services.
It's free for the year.
Microsoft Azure, IBM, they're all giving a free server use, free tiers.
Yeah,
Also,
free tiers,
Google Cloud is there. So right now, the cost of innovation is cheap. What we do right now is how we actually put our software in front of the customers, and that's
yeah,
very important.
That's marketing, basically, they're putting it in.
Marketing. So in talking about marketing, and we've spoke to a lot of business people in this podcast, a lot of startups and like outside also. What's your general marketing strategy? Like
Since we are all software engineers, we are actually focused on product. We're a very product-oriented company, and we just partner with the best of the best. Like Smart Communications is just our pseudo marketers. We partner with the best talented marketing professionals, and we pay them via commission.
right.
No brainer, and it's no cost for us in terms of salary.
So like what I notice is I also speak to like some business people who are not from here, who are basically foreigners, and they try to build a business here, and some of them they're having a hard time because they think they're in their mind is like the Philippine marketing style, their marketing style basically in the UK, for example, doesn't fit here. Because here, is it true? I don't know. Is it true that it's very relational here? There's like trust is difficult to come.
Yes,
by?
basically Asian countries,
Okay.
not just Philippines. It's not unique to Philippines. Asian countries is focused on relations, business relations, rather than your software or your product at
Right.
first. But if you have a good product and then people will love it, I think they would buy your product rather than the relationship. But here in Asia, it's true. It's based on relationship. So build your networks, especially if you're in Asia.
So like when you say build your network, what are the tips that you can give to people like in different like phases of their business life? Like how can they do that?
So basically, you have to know where the events are. So right now, we're very lucky. There are a lot of events. So we have Cebu Innovation Network. We have Cebu Chamber of Commerce. They have their own events.
Right.
We have DTI. We also have a school-based events. So you have to go to each of those events and find out the best people that could teach you and advise you. And mentorship is free. Mentors are free.
Right, right. Wow, this episode is
Very powerful episode.
I can think of many many parts of it, and it's like a standalone thing that it can inspire a lot of people and gives not just inspire but basically give them like
An idea.
a direction, and that's exactly what we want here in the big picture, because we want you guys, you know who you are, you're planning to start something, whether a tech business, a traditional business, or a podcast or a vlog or whatever.
Yeah,
you know who you
wherever
are. Yeah, wherever you are. And you know what? Our drive here, our desire here is to get you on it. We get you started. And so, Vince, in our interview here, our conversation here, I'm pretty sure, you guys don't have any reason to start things up now. So, we usually end the first segment, Vince, with our learnings, Dave and I. So let's start with David.
So for
What
me,
I'm thinking.
so for me, it's I think the very powerful thing about what Vince here has is the impact, because he has outgrown the. I'm not sure if he didn't mention this specifically, but it's most of us, we think about just finance and all money and cash flow and all, but
Yes.
I think there's a point where you also think about what impact what you're doing is, and I'm actually at that point that I'm trying to realize what the impact, whatever I'm doing, is it just for money, or can it help people do, and people grow, or can it help the society as a whole? So I think that's very important, because I believe that if you have this pure intention of having an impact in your society, I think everything else will follow. Just for that, yeah. So
Significance.
a greater cause will help
Success
you.
to significance.
Yeah.
Very cool. So mine would be, one is basically clarity on what you really want, because with what you shared, Vince, was that when you were young, you already want something, and you went to it, no excuses, just. And I really like people people who are doing. I don't like to say like we're planning to do it, because it means like we may or may not do it. But like with Vince, it's like, let's do it, and then I'm gonna go to the point of like knock on doors, break the rules. That's one. Second would be very simple. It is called like networking. When I say networking, I'm not talking about like the pyramid where you buy 7 heads, stuff like that. But networking, as Vince was said, build your network. Be where people are and find and sort out the best of the best. Sort out the best mentors. I like when you said that mentorship is free, because it really is. The best of the best will definitely want to teach you and want to share to you. And this is the very reason why Dave and I would invite people and sit down with them for an hour or two. Because, and for free.
We're not paying for
We're
it.
not paying
Hopefully,
Vince.
he's not asking any money after
Not
this.
yet. but that's what I really like.
Absorbing every brains.
Yeah, we're absorbing the best of the best that this country and beyond can offer. So,
Right.
I just love that. All right.
All right, so that's a wrap. I think we should move to our
Lightning round. So without the sound effect.
Hopefully,
Okay.
we'll have the budget to have
You
sound
wanna
effects.
you wanna start?
Yeah. So, what's a typical day for you as a techpreneur?
So I actually wake up late right now because I'm started my job 10 a.m. until 1 a.m. That's how I work hard every single day. I typically eat my breakfast. I do a little bit of exercise, and I always think of my day-to-day.
Right.
And I always have in mind to always ask my colleagues and personnel what they are doing right now. I think
Individually?
that's the best. Individually.
Yeah.
You have a small team, or how many teams?
I have 11 strong teams, and I outsource 20 persons
You work in an office, right?
in an office.
Okay.
Yep.
So good.
Okay.
next.
So my next question is, how do you keep yourself sharp and motivated?
I think it's best to always read books and always watch motivational videos and always hear positive things. For me, there's already a lot of negativity. You always hear it and pass through it. But if it's a
Right.
positive things, hear it and keep it. That's the best thing to do in life.
Okay, in line with this, what would be a book that you would recommend for people who are, who you need that push to get move forward with their goals and dreams?
Right. I would never always have this in any interview about this book, Poor Dad and Rich Dad, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Right.
by Robert Kiyosaki.
Wow.
Because it's not only talking about richness or how to get wealth, but it's actually how to be in a wealthy mindset.
Right.
Exactly. All right.
I like that book also. You like
Yeah, that actually transformed my life.
Really cool.
So
Next
the
question.
the next question is: do you consider yourself successful?
I think people would think that success is always relative to wealth. But for me, success is if people think about you as successful, and then for me, it's actually success. Uh, Aside from that, it's more on social impact for me.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you have the most dollars or pesos in your bank account, but if you don't make social impact, then you are not successful. For me,
Right.
it's more on social impact rather than wealth.
Wow.
I'll ask the double question.
You would like that?
Yeah. So basically, in the big picture, the reason why one of the big reasons why we started this is that a lot of our Filipino brothers and sisters, they have this mindset that they have to go out of the country to find a greener pasture, and a lot of us are still having that mindset. So, what is your tip? Because you here is a proof that any money can be found here, right? And you're actually quite successful here. So, what is your tip for all of those people who are stuck in a job that they don't like, or still intending to go outside, or I mean OFWs right now listening to this who are pretty stuck with
Right.
whatever?
I believe our God or eternity. If you believe in God, or if you don't believe in God, the energy, everything, opportunities, positive things in life is actually in front of you. All you have to do is to actually look for it and be with it and grab it, right, and take action. A lot of people always think that greener pasture is abroad, but actually it's here in the Philippines. Philippines is actually very diverse. We are blessed with natural resources, and not just natural resources, but very talented people. You just have to look for it and be resourceful. I have this story. I don't know if I've shared it with you guys. When I went to Malaysia, this is already when I was full-time technipreneur. I only have 1,000 peso, and you need a plane ticket. You need a hotel to stay. You need food to eat, right? Taxi fares. You know what? I survived. Why? Because someone offered me the hotel stay. The airline ticket was funded by IBM SmartCamp. And I went very early because there was breakfast. And there was also lunch. And there was also dinner if you stay late. So for me, life is already giving you everything. You just have to be resourceful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to insert this because this is the first time that when we talk before that we started shooting. You talk about OFB,
Right. Overseas Filipino businessman.
right? Can you talk about that very quickly?
So I actually saw, or you might notice, we are already 11 million OFW. In fact, 1 to 2 degree within your family is going abroad. My brother is in Australia, my sister in UK, and so on and so forth. My cousins is in abroad. So might as well we convert them into OFB, or Overseas Filipino Businessmen,
I like that.
because they already have the mindset. They know how Western world thinks and do things, but they don't do it here in the Philippines. They do it abroad, right? So
The money goes
I want them to be a businessman abroad and bring it here in the Philippines. In that way, we will have more entrepreneurs rather than workers.
Right. That brings into mind one thing. Like when most of China migrated, right? They migrated here in different parts of the globe. They became businessmen. The Jews, when they were scattered because of
They
the
also became this.
yes, and they're like the biggest in New York and all these kind of things. And so sometimes I like OFB, and that's the reason why I want you to like talk about it, because number one, it's new to me. Number two, because it never occurred to me that it's like the potential is already there.
It's actually in line with our vision as well.
It's in line with our vision, but
And what's good thing about Filipinos, we are connected. We are the most connected people
Right.
in the entire universe.
right.
11 million people is in abroad. If you do a lot of products here in the Philippines and make it globally, we could top the 11 million Filipinos abroad.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I like it.
Right. Your last question.
My last question is like the most important question and the most difficult question also, like in the planet,
In the universe.
in the whole universe. The question is, where can people find you?
So I actually in Facebook all the time. I think I'm in Facebook 24/7. To find me, Vinx Studio. That's VINX STUDIO. I'm also in LinkedIn. My profile name is also Vinx Studio. VINX STUDIO. My website is www.tudlo.co or TUDLO. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you will find all of those in our show notes, and you will find it at thebigpicture.ph// episode 20. So, yes, that's a wrap.
Not yet. You know, as you can see, we have like delicious chicken.
We have a new venue.
A new venue for us. We'd like to thank Paco. If you like a really good chicken, wow,
Big slice of
amazing.
Big cuts.
We have really good accommodation here for today, and thank you guys for watching. Vince, thank you so much for
Thank you so
being
much.
here.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
Really a pleasure.
Right.
Dave, anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, so we're still, if you know anyone or if you've seen this video, please share it, or this podcast basically. Share it to all your friends or someone who you think needs this message, needs Vince's message. So,
Yes.
Yeah, so, you might be able to help others, so please share it.
All right. Thank you guys, and goodbye.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.